This is a pretty powerful statement, right? It goes against a basic human instinct, that urge to pick a side, to show where you stand. But what if the real power isn't in choosing? What if it's in refusing to choose at all? Welcome. Today we're digging into one of the most strategic, and let's face it, one of the most controversial principles of power, Law 20, do not commit to anyone. We're going to break down exactly why keeping your independence can make you the master of just about any situation you find yourself in. So, the core idea of this law is actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. The moment you commit to a side, a cause, or another person, you give away a piece of your power. Independence, on the other hand, well, that's the key to mastering others. Now, this law isn't just about being, distant or aloof. It actually splits into two really specific strategies. First, there's the art of making yourself so valuable that everyone wants you on their team. And second, there's the tactic of staying above all the petty fights, letting other people wear themselves out while you save your strength. We're going to start with that first part, being pursued. This is all about turning your non-commitment into this irresistible magnet. See, when you refuse to be pinned down, people try that much harder to win you over. And there is seriously no better example of this in all of history than Queen Elizabeth I. So, picture this. The year is 1558. A young woman, Elizabeth, takes the English throne. And right away, the pressure on her is just immense. Parliament, her advisors, pretty much the whole country, they're all screaming at her to get married, produce an heir, and give England a king. But Elizabeth saw the trap. She saw it clear as day. She had watched her own cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots, make a terrible marriage that led to nothing but chaos and ruin. Committing to a husband meant losing her own power, getting dragged into foreign wars, and creating all these nasty rivalries at home. But by staying single, by becoming the so-called virgin queen, she could make herself the ultimate prize.
And oh, what a game she played. She was an absolute master. She juggled these ambitious English nobles, keeping them all loyal with the faint hope that they might be the one. And on the world stage, she was brilliant. She dangled the possibility of marriage to play Spain off against France, and she got peace and alliances without ever having to fire a single shot or sign a treaty that locked her in. The key was to always give them hope, but never ever give them what they wanted.
And this quote right here, it just says it all, doesn't it? For Elizabeth, her power and her independence were the exact same thing. By refusing to commit, she didn't just protect her throne, she turned herself into a symbol, an object of worship, the living embodiment of England's strength. Okay, so let's shift gears to the second part of this law, and you'll see how it builds. This is about more than just playing games of courtship. This is about flat-out refusing to get dragged into other people's fights, saving your energy and building your own power from a position of neutrality. I want you to imagine something. You're the ruler of a tiny, rich little kingdom, but you are completely surrounded by huge, hungry, warring giants. Every single one of your neighbors either wants to conquer you or force you into an alliance that you know will destroy you. So what do? Well, this was the exact problem facing a woman named Isabella d'Este. So, in 15th century Italy, the city-state of Mantua was like a mouse caught between lions. You had France, Spain, Venice, the Papal States, all of them circling. And its ruler, Isabella d'Este, she knew that picking a side meant getting crushed. So she decided to commit to no one except from Mantua. Her strategy was just a masterclass in diplomacy. She used her famous charm to befriend the King of France. She kept the incredibly dangerous Cesare Borgia happy with perfectly chosen gifts and flattering letters. When war finally broke out, she played this brilliant double game. She'd publicly complain about French troops crossing her land, while behind the scenes, she was secretly feeding them intelligence. She seemed interested in helping everyone, but she was only ever loyal to herself. It's kind of like that old fable, about the fox who watched the hawks and the crows fight each other to the death over him. They completely destroyed each other, and in the end, the fox just walked away and feasted on the leftovers. Isabella understood this perfectly. While the great powers of Italy were bleeding each other dry, tiny little Mantua didn't just survive, it flourished. All right, so you might be thinking, okay, this is all well and good for queens and duchesses from the Renaissance, but does any of this actually apply today? The answer is absolutely. This strategy of non-commitment is a timeless tool of power, and it's used by some of the most influential people in modern politics and art.
Let's take the 1968 US presidential election. You've got Henry Kissinger, a brilliant strategist, who's just looking for his path to real power. He wasn't committed to a party, no. He was committed to his own career.
So Kissinger played both sides like a fiddle. He was feeding valuable inside info about the Vietnam peace talks to the Republican candidate Richard Nixon, while at the same time he was approaching the Democrat Hubert Humphrey, offering to sell him dirt on Nixon. You see, it didn't matter who won the election. Kissinger had already guaranteed himself a spot in the cabinet. He committed to no one, and because of that, he won everything.
And this isn't just for politics. The artist Pablo Picasso used the exact same idea to basically conquer the art world. Instead of signing an exclusive deal with one gallery, he stayed independent. And this drove the dealers into an absolute frenzy, constantly competing against each other, driving up the prices for his work higher and higher. His refusal to be tied down made him the most desirable artist in the world.
Okay, so we've seen how Queen Elizabeth, Isabella d'Este, Kissinger, and Picasso all used this law to get what they wanted. So let's try to boil their strategies down into a simple framework, the real core tactics of non-commitment.
Okay, first, just like Elizabeth, you have to spark interest, but never fully give in. Give people hope, make them chase you. Second, like Isabella, you need to seem interested in other people's problems, but you gotta stay emotionally detached. Third, let your rivals wear themselves out fighting each other. And finally, the absolute golden rule: protect your independence at all costs.
So why does this work so well? Well, it's really just basic psychology. When you refuse to commit, you make yourself, well, ungraspable. People can't put you in a neat little box. That aura of independence makes you seem more powerful. And desire is contagious. When people see that other people want you, they start to want you too. And that really brings us to the big question here at the end. I mean, we live in a world that is constantly screaming for our loyalty to a brand, a political party, a cause, a team. We're always told that commitment is a good thing, a virtue. But this law suggests the complete opposite. It forces us to ask, is it possible that the ultimate form of power isn't in choosing a side, but in having the freedom to never have to choose one at all? What do you think?